So today we will be talking about the racetrack. So here we have a meter-long racetrack, and inside the racetrack we have markings to mark in centimeters how far apart the sensors are, and we have a total of 6 sensors. So we usually put like a lizard or a gecko in the racetrack to measure its performance and how fast it could run. Recently we did an experiment where we were measuring the performance of a gecko after it took a specific amount of alcohol. And so what we were measuring then is how fast it would run and if it would attack or try to jump out or any stuff like that. So what you do is you usually start the racetrack on the computer, or you start the timer. You place the animal in the racetrack. You always like to have your hand on top in case it wants to try to jump out and escape. Now usually you have something to like scare it with or to like brush it from the back. Now when you do this with the cardboard, you don't want to be pushing the animal. You just want to be kind of lightly like tapping and like pushing, but you don't want to be like forcibly pushing it. Now there's 2 sensors on each side. There's the light sensor and then there's the receptor sensor. So the second the lizard crosses the sensor, it marks it on the computer, the time it took for it to cross that sensor, and so on until it finishes the racetrack and it hits all 6 sensors.
So once you have your racetrack set up, you're going to want to connect your racetrack sensors to the computer in order to use the correct software, as so, and then continue with the software. You don't want to always have it connected because it is a hazard. People could be tripping over it and then ruining your wires. Alright, so now that we've talked about the racetrack, we're going to talk about the software we use that marks the time when the lizards cross the sensor. We have the slot car racing software here. So this software marks the time at the 20 centimeter intervals that we have set up on this 1 meter racetrack. So we're going to start this timer and see how to use it. Alright, as we saw, we had our lizard run through the racetrack, and here it has a lap time. So these were the times that the sensors marked the lizards passing. We would transfer this information onto an Excel sheet and work up our data, see the intervals and time it took for this lizard to, the gecko in our case, to cross the sensors. Okay, so now the lizard or gecko don't always go straight across the track, so it might have some hiccups and they'll turn around and hit a sensor twice or even multiple times. When that happens, we'll show how to fix that up. Alright, as you can see here, the times, they're blacked out, meaning that the lizard or something tripped the sensor multiple times. So to fix this, to get some correct data, we'll go up here to view data, we'll hit summary, and here it'll mark the times that the lizard first crossed the sensor the first time, and these would be the correct times to use for your calculations. Alright, so once the gecko has ran, you're going to want to pause the software. This is when you'll take down all the information, the numbers you need into your Excel sheet, and to clear the lap times, we just simply abort, and yes, you're ready to run the next lizard.
So what you want to do is you always want to do sort of like a pre-run or pre-trial to make sure everything is working before you actually start running your actual tests on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a pre-test. You're going to start it, and it already tells you that one of the sensors is wrong, which is sensor 5. So if a sensor is, so first you want to check to see if all the sensors are connected, and we notice that sensor 5 is not connected. So what you do is you find it, and all you do is just pop it back in. Make sure to have the tape in there to tape it down, and so it stops it from falling back out. And we want to make sure it's actually working. So we'll just press OK, pause, abort, and then we're going to run it again and make sure all the sensors are working. And And then we check over here, and it seems pretty consistent.